I'd like to call to order the Clarkson Independence District Library Board of Trustees meeting for June 4th at 6 p.m. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Jan Gaffney. Here. Michelle Ginn.
Here.
Dan Green.
Here.
Mary Hemberg.
Here.
Allison McFadden-Keesling.
Here.
Marilyn Pomeroy.
Here.
Ann Rose. Here. Here.
I'll accept a motion for approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Call to the public. Hello, public.
Hi there. Nothing to report, however. The Friends are meeting next week.
Okay. So it's been calm there also, huh?
We're calm, yeah. That's good.
Okay, thank you for joining us. Now we have 5 items on the consent agenda. I'll accept a motion to approve that agenda.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to discuss any individual item? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Motion is approved. Library statistics.
We don't have a statistical report this evening because it's still being compiled.
I was like, where is it?
Yeah, I know.
This was a little quick into
It was a little bit quick. This is a little bit early in the month, but since it just ended on Friday, we didn't have time to get everything together today. But he did want me to point out and as a highlight that our numbers are much higher for our door counter because we did a lot of school visits this month, and the school actually bused the kids here. So lots of count going into the building, and much of it was before we opened because we were doing school visits as early as, I believe, 8 a.m. So we don't open until 10. So there was lots. He thought it was really interesting. We had lots of people counting going on before we even opened the building. So that was a bit of news that goes along with
Seems
it.
very busy right now. The parking lot's really.
It is.
Very.
Yeah, it is. Which is,
Right.
I'm off a little right before school lets out, but school lets out on Friday, so
Yeah.
graduation
Yeah. Make sure they're counting moments. Thank you. Library Director Report.
Lots to report this evening. Under general information, we would like to welcome to our team Elena Jones, our new Youth and Teen Services Librarian. Elena started on Friday, June 1st. She will work side by side with Alexa Lalagini, our current Youth and Teen Services Librarian, until June 6th to create a smooth transition going into our summer reading program. We will miss Alexa, but wish her well in her new endeavor. Item number 2, as discussed in the April Director's Report, the Midwest Collaborative for Library Services, MCLS, the organization that provided our library with the grant for Harwood training, invited our library to share our story with the larger community because we used our training in a unique way. MCLS sent a videographer to our library to interview myself and City Councilman Eric Haven. The videos are now complete and ready for distribution. In addition, I've been invited to be on the community conversation panel at the statewide Community Engagement Summit in East Lansing in September. I will also be involved in a presentation about Harwood training at the MLA annual conference in October. And I do have videos, so we're going to have a little bit of fun for
Show and tell.
Visual aids.
Visual
Visual aids,
aids.
yes.
Will they be on Independence Television, do you know?
They could be, well, they will be because we're recording tonight, but I can send them over as well. Yeah. But there are 2 videos. There's one that's sort of an overall video about the Harwood training, that particular grant, featuring the state librarian, and then there's one specifically to our project. So I'll show the overall one first.
What can we do to help libraries? What can we do to make libraries better? We had a conversation with libraries statewide and asked them, what do you need? And a lot of them were looking for ways to be more significant in their community. And we started looking at, okay, what's that look like and how can we assist them in getting to that place? Because we've been able to partner with MCLS and take advantage of the expertise that their staff has, partnering it with the expertise our staff has. It's been a win-win for both organizations.
When we started working with the Harwood tools, it was all about us and what we could do with the toolkit. And instead what we found out is what libraries wanted to do in their own communities. And what they wanted to do was use that toolkit and be more innovative in their communities, be more central, more important, and seen as a player within their communities.
When I went through the whole Harwood training, the first very obvious thing is it's a ton of work.
You think about how can I get on a path that's more impactful, has more relevance for the library, and what's a good first step to get there?
It's a huge commitment. It's not one of those training sessions you go to and you do it for a few weeks and then you're done. This is a change in the way you do business in your library. That level of commitment was sort of an aha moment of, okay, people are going to have to buy in and really be dedicated to make this happen. As the libraries engage, work in the community, the library is seen in a different way.
I think it's so important to stay connected to the community. Whatever it is that we can do, I want to make sure that we have the ability to do that.
What the community conversations allow for are a more in-depth conversation about the community needs and a little more thoughtfulness and reflection on that.
It's that turning outward paradigm that makes this such a powerful methodology to use. Turning outward means an organization puts their community front and center and talks to them first about what it is they want to see happening within the community.
This is a different way of thinking in terms of asking really big open-ended questions.
The first question is, what kind of community do you want?
When you're asking them, what are your aspirations for the community, and you're really listening, and then translating that into the action steps for your own organization, that's a completely different way of thinking.
We're always going, okay, what does our public want? But by actually listening to them and finding out what they want, not just from us, but from the whole community, we find that we provide more value to them and the services we can offer.
Libraries are really going to be here decades from now. We need to really listen and make sure that what we're doing is actually delivering something that is going to be relevant into the future.
Librarians are great at saying, here's what you need, here's the book you should be reading. We're not so great at saying, what do you want us to be? And Harwood sort of is where you reach out and are asking your community, what do you want the library to be in this community? And then you become that, and you help change the community.
We're now seeing some really cool examples of libraries that have really run with these ideas, have really turned outward, are making big differences in their communities in ways that they weren't able to before. And once they start going down that path, decision makers and other important people in their communities are taking notice and saying, oh my gosh, we can bring the library in, they can help us work through these issues and solve these problems.
If you get out there, start having those conversations, the spotlight is right there shining on you, you'll succeed.
So that's the overall one, and then they did a video, one for each individual library that was part of the project, and there were 3 libraries that they did. So this is ours specifically.
This particular library originally had been established under PA 269, which is a law that was repealed, and we were still technically a legal library, but we needed to reestablish under a current and valid law.
We really couldn't be a district library or not a library at all because the municipalities weren't going to fund it anymore.
It's very difficult for libraries when you go through economic downturn to justify your existence and how important libraries are to the community. And so when we started reading about what Harwood was all about and being turned outward and re-engaging with the community, it felt like an opportunity to maybe use that towards strategic planning or to kind of reinvent ourselves afterwards. We solved this major problem, the community said, yes, we want a library, but now what do you do with that? Harwood is all about leaning in and all about listening, not saying, what can I do for you, but saying, tell me about what your aspirations are as a business. And then we start to think about, oh, well, you know, we can help fill this need or we can help fill that need.
She brought up the idea of Harwood training and the opportunity to offer to the public for almost anything people want to talk about. I thought that is an essential or valuable place in a neutral space in your culture to be able to come and express yourself. We knew that our park was a bit weary. The playground needed some help.
So Eric came to me and he said, I would really like to do a community conversation about Depot Park. Would you be willing to do that? If that's what you want, I'm perfectly happy to do that. What are your aspirations for Depot Park? If they're going to be doing these big changes to the park, you know, who gets to make those decisions about priorities? How do you keep the community informed about who's making those choices, about the way the money is being spent?
80% is wetlands, and only 20%, which is at this end of actual park space, which is used today.
The park proper, the playground, and so on. There's talk about pavilion. We would talk about a pavilion perhaps. Julie and her team, they have this rank order, a whole lot of options we put in front of them. They go, we like this best, or that second, that third. So that gives us then our buying sequence. So it becomes a practical outcome. You know, what I like about it is it's done by a neutral party who doesn't have any skin in the game at all. They're just there to kind of ferret out what is in fact honest public opinion. And so that to me is a huge value. The community conversation tool is a great one. It's a place of open conversation.
A library's responsibility is to gather and disseminate information. Harwood is about gathering and disseminating information. We hear this all the time. Why do we need libraries? We have Google. If libraries are really going to be here decades from now, that's the question we need to ask. And we need to really listen and make sure that what we're doing is actually delivering something that is going to be relevant into the future.
Beautiful, yeah.
Julie, how many times have you hosted a community conversation here or anywhere?
We've hosted about a dozen community conversations. Like here. We did some small ones, we did some big ones, we've done different natures, we've done different purposes. Where it really became a special project was when Eric, when the city council came to one and Eric was really engaged about what could be done with this further. We started to have that conversation about, well, we want to talk about Depot Park, or we want to talk about the parking issues, or we want to talk about, various things where the library would then be sort of the neutral facilitator.
Right.
All we do is stand up there and write it all down.
Right.
And then we give them a report, which is no judgment on anything that was there,
Just what you heard.
just a summary of what we heard, exactly. And it worked so well, we actually did it twice for Depot Park. We did one that was an overview, and then one that was specifically for children's services. So the playground equipment and the potential for pavilion and benches and that sort of thing. So from that point, then they decided that funding was an issue and that they needed to have a master plan, and they're walking that path. But that whole conversation helped them to prioritize and realize what to put first, what to put second, what to put third.
Do we have plans for any additional
At this
conversations?
point, we've offered up first for other options. We had talked about, doing parking. They scheduled it and they pulled it off because they had some solutions in place that they wanted to try. So that one's still on the table potentially. We did an open-ended conversation to help the city council set priorities. At first, we thought it was going to be more of a conversation for the next fiscal year, but it really turned into sort of a goal-setting discussion. So I haven't heard anything recently about people wanting to do additional ones, but we're definitely open to it. And like I said, the city has found it to be really helpful, and we really enjoy doing it. So, yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, back to the director's report after that little sideline. Under finances, in order to streamline the payroll process, the department heads and I looked at the timesheets module of the paycheck service we've been using. The system will allow employees to enter their hours online, have them reviewed and approved by their supervisor, and then everything can be uploaded directly to our Paychex Flex account for processing paychecks. This will eliminate the manual system of transferring data into Paychex and empower the employees and supervisors to take control of accurately entering the data. I will still review the final reports before submitting payroll for processing as I enter and double check the accuracy of the retirement and healthcare contributions, and we'll be training the staff in the system over the next few weeks and implementing on June 25th. So this should make things a lot more efficient.
Plus, it's all uploaded.
It is, yeah, it's more automatic, yeah. We will soon be transitioning to the online version of QuickBooks Finance software. We've been using QuickBooks since the library reestablished. It works well for us, but this newer version is more user-friendly and will work more efficiently for the remote access of our accountant, and our IT manager is working on that transition, which we hope to implement in the next month or so. Project updates. At last month's library board meeting, the library board approved the reupholstery of the chair in the towel alcove. We have received word that the chair is complete and should be returned later this week. Actually, it's early next week, but soon, very soon. So that came back really fast, so I was excited about that. The interactive makerspace that is being added to the children's department, also approved at the library board meeting last month, has had all of the details finalized and the orders placed. The head of children's and teen services and the IT manager are looking forward to the installation of this project, tentatively planned for late summer or early fall. Things are moving forward. It's been a hurry up and wait on that project, and now we're finally to the hurry up part again. We're happy to announce that after much research and hard work, we now have the Clarkston High School yearbooks available online. The additions from, I know this has been a project in the making for a long time. The additions from 1924 to 1977 are hosted on the Oakland County Historical Resources server and then linked to our website. Due to copyright restrictions, the yearbooks from 1978 to the present are hosted on the library's server and available to be viewed electronically only inside the library. To the best of our knowledge, the missing years from 1927 to 1945 were during a time frame when yearbooks were not produced. The complete list of Clarkston High School yearbooks can be found by selecting A to Z databases or genealogy and local history under the research tab on the library's website. We're working with the school. We're going to do a more fanfare and put it out there, but we thought at the end of the school year we might as well just put it out there, make sure everything works great, and then we'll do a lot of fanfare in the fall. Next item, we've been working with John Foster and Eric Helsel of Convergent Technology Partners to develop a plan to replace the library's outdated phone system. The RFP has been posted, and the timeline is as follows. The bid opening is Thursday, June 21st at noon. The bid deadline is June 21st at noon, and then the bid opening is June 21st at 12:01. Immediately following, yep. The recommendation is scheduled to appear on the July 16th library board meeting agenda to award the contract, and we hope to have most of the installation of the new phone system done by the end of August, with a project completion deadline by the end of September. So that's another one of those things that has been a long time in the making and is now
Coming.
the end in sight. So hooray.
But we still have a plan to have a human answer the phone.
Oh, yes, we will not be having an automated phone answering. As long as I'm here, we will have real people answering the phone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As mentioned in a previous director's report, the lead custodian and I have been working with the representative from our facilities company, Allied Building Services, regarding a proposal to streamline and manage regularly occurring building maintenance tasks. To that end, we arranged to have the windows, carpets, and floors cleaned by this company to allow for price and quality comparisons. We anticipate that this research will help us work out the details of this project. In the meantime, we are pleased to have these tasks taken care of for the year and are kicking off the summer season looking our best. So go around and enjoy the fact that the carpets and the windows are clean and shining. Everything's great. Next item, the library's 2018 summer reading program will begin with the annual kickoff event on Monday, June 11th. That's why the meeting is early this month, because summer school's out a week early and summer reading is kicking off a week early. And it's from 6 to 8 p.m. While registration for all ages will begin online at 10 a.m., the evening event will include bubble making magic of Bubble Man Run, a variety of lawn games, and the chance to pick up goodies provided by the Friends of the Library. And then in terms of collaborations, on Thursday, May 31st, the Clarkston Farm and Garden Club held their annual planting day at the library. Our beautiful gardens are funded, created, and tended by the hardworking Garden Club volunteers. The library only pays for mulch and lawn mowing, so thank you, Garden Club. As a reminder, the Peter Rabbit Garden in front of the picket fence features a variety of vegetables, and the Roots to Fruits Garden features berries and other edible plants. The public is encouraged to harvest and enjoy the goodies from both of these gardens. And then last, but definitely not least, the Clarkston Farm and Garden Club will hold their annual garden walk on Wednesday, July 18th from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. The walk begins at the library and will feature an artisan market from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. The library will be one of the locations where advance tickets can be purchased. The day of the event, all tickets will be sold by the Garden Club at the registration table on the library grounds. This fun event is an opportunity to show off the library gardens, and it's also one of the major fundraisers that supports all those flowers that are out here at the library. So, you want to make people know about that.
Excellent, because that's a big job.
It is a big job. It's a huge job.
We had a garden club meeting this morning, and Judy read that, the e-roll.
Oh, did she?
And actually, a copy is going in our scrapbook.
Oh, very nice. I'm glad they liked it.
It looks very nice.
Yes, it looks
And when I
beautiful.
drove up,
It really does.
Very fresh.
I reminded the staff to stop and smell the flowers. Not everybody gets to work at such a beautiful venue.
That's right. All right, on to regular business. We have some budget adjustments today. Number one,
Speaking of rug cleaning service, the lead custodian and her team have been considering a variety of ways to improve the cleanliness of the library. One area that has been a struggle is carpet. It is especially difficult to manage salt during the winter months, which causes significant wear and tear on the carpets and the vacuum cleaners. By using runners and rugs in the lobby area, there has been significant improvement, and that is actually something we've been doing for years. Additional research revealed that businesses such as banks also use rugs and runners to lengthen the life of the carpets, but hire a rug rental service to regularly clean and maintain these rugs, thus maximizing cleanliness while reducing the wear and tear on the organization's cleaning equipment. The way this service works is that the library decides on the number, type, size, and color of the rugs needed. The rug rental service purchases 2 sets of rugs, so there can be 1 set at the library while the other set is being cleaned. Rugs are cleaned and delivered at whatever interval is designated by the library. If the rugs become worn over time, the rug rental service will simply replace the worn rugs. The lead custodian talked to local businesses that use such a service and called to acquire quotes from local businesses that provide this service. She selected Darwell Enterprises of Oxford because they provide a great price, the type of rug we would like for the lobby, and had strong references from other local businesses who use their services. The cost for this service for the rugs we have been using with a bi-weekly cleaning interval is $55, so approximately $1,100 for the remainder of the year. This is a great time to try this type of service because the runners and rugs in the lobby are worn and due to be replaced. Instead of purchasing new rugs, it is being proposed that we try a rug service for the remainder of the year to see if this would be beneficial and cost-effective. If it works well, we can write it into the 2019 budget. If we determine we prefer to have our own rugs, we can cancel the service at any time and purchase rugs instead. This is a new service and it is not currently budgeted, so we are asking for a fund balance adjustment of $1,100. They did actually bring in the rugs that are out there are from Darwell Services, so you can see what they're like. They're giving us a trial run. So.
Very nice.
So it starts immediately. Yep, it's already underway. We started it so we could make sure that the rugs that they provide the rugs that we like, that they fit under all the doors properly.
Yeah. Good idea, and we have the rest of the year to see how it works. Good.
Yep.
Now, Arlene should be commended for all of her research.
She worked really hard on this and did a lot of, she ran to some banks to look at what they were doing. She called other businesses. She really did a lot of work on this
Research.
project. Yeah, she really researched this one. She's worked hard.
Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve a budget adjustment of $1,100 from fund balance to line 931, building and grounds maintenance for a rug cleaning service till the end of this year.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve a budget adjustment of $1,100 from fund balance to line 931 for rug cleaning service. Try out this approach. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Okay, number 2.
Okay, a budget adjustment for gutter at the main entrance. This past winter, we discovered that water coming off of the roof line at the main entrance has been pooling near the column where the button for the handicap door is located. This created a safety hazard that we dealt with through careful salting until we could assess a better way to solve the problem. We have determined that the best way to correct this issue is to install a gutter that will divert water away from the entrance and prevent it from pooling on any walkways. We requested a quote from Bloom Roofing, the company that replaced our roof in 2013 and has been providing the annual maintenance service on our roof. The cost would be $950, and they've got the quote in here. So essentially what they'll do, it'll still divert it away, but it'll run it down the columns and it'll put it off into the gardens instead of having it
pool on
Pool
the
on the
sidewalk.
Yep.
Okay, and the roofing contract there is, follows on the next 2 pages.
It's not a budgeted item, so we would need a fund balance adjustment for this one as well.
I move that we approve a budget adjustment of $950 from the fund balance to line 975 building to pay for Bloom Roofing to install this gutter.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions? I have one. When would they be planning to do this?
I'll have to talk to them about that, but they would have it done before the end of the summer, obviously. They're trying to, they'll squeeze it in. It's a small project, so.
All right, any other comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion is carried. Okay, item number 3.
Okay, this is another one of those hurry up and wait projects that we're finally moving again on. A review and approval of the quote for the concrete work for the outbuilding. As discussed in the May Library Director's Report, we've been working with Clarkson High School's construction trades classes to coordinate the building of a shed on the library grounds to store items that do not need to be in the temperature-controlled library. The building itself will be able to be built for the cost of the materials, and we are currently working with the instructors to work out what that budget will look like. The board should see that quote on an agenda later this summer. The other piece of this project is the concrete slab on which to place the building. In order to support the learning of the students, we wanted to hire a concrete contractor willing to work on the school's timeline to allow the students to observe this work and ask questions. Local contractor Bob White stepped forward to quote this project and agreed to work with the instructors to provide this learning opportunity to the students. Attached is the quote for the work that will include the slab with appropriate internal support, walkway to the asphalt service drive, and repair of the grass in that area. And this, once again, this is not a budgeted item, it's something we've been working on for a while, so.
It's a coordination issue.
It's been a coordination, it's been very exciting trying to work with this one, actually. And it was interesting talking to him because, of course, having been in business a long time, he also was very concerned to make sure that the workers understood the rules of behaving appropriately. They're not going to be allowed to smoke on site. They're going to need to keep their language clean and that sort of thing, since there will be students present.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And the fact that Mr. White came in, and as we were saying, I was kind of looking over it. He's like, these are the things that I would expect them to do, and so it was heartening to hear
He
that.
did our slab out here for the sculpture.
He did the slab for the sculpture, and he also did the slab for the statue.
Right.
Yep, and that one he did on short notice, and really did that one, gave us a good deal on it. He basically gave us the end of a mixer full of concrete and did it, so.
Well, that's
Yeah.
pretty nice.
It was very nice, yeah, yeah.
Well, and it's nice that he's willing to work, because this is an unusual learning opportunity
It
for the
is.
students.
And most contractors wouldn't even, I mean, if I were to put out an RFP that said, hey, we want you to help teach some students, there would be no bids.
It would be twice as long as it would be if you just came in and did it.
Exactly,
But it's
exactly.
helping the community too, and the kids.
But he really felt strongly that it was a great project. I did call in advance and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing, and I gave him time to think about it and all that. And he said, yeah, I want to do this. If you're,
I'm so glad.
yeah.
I am too, that's great.
So we're very pleased with the cooperation and collaboration
Yes.
between the
Absolutely.
contractor, the schools, and the library.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will accept a motion.
I move to approve the quote from Edward R. White, contractor, and approve a budget adjustment of $7,000 from the fund balance to line 975 building for this concrete work.
Second. Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the quote from Edward R. White Contractor Incorporated to approve the budget adjustment of $7,000 from fund balance to line 975 to this concrete work. Any comments or any other questions?
Just one, I'm sure this is not an issue, but it says these prices do not include permits, winter protection testing. Is that going to be anything we have to look at later on, or what?
He's going to assist us with the permits in terms of making sure, but I'll handle the permits with the building department. And it sounded like based on the size of the slab needed, he didn't think we would probably need that. Yeah, he did actually talk to a civil engineer and make sure that he knew in terms of
The slope?
how deep it should be, how exactly he should grade it to make sure that the runoff is appropriate and the amount of rebar he should put inside of it. So while it says that, he actually did go the extra mile for us, and he's done all of those things. I think that's probably just standard language.
And so he's going to do not only the area, but the walkway so that we can get things from the shed
Yep.
into the building.
So that we can use a dolly to do that.
Yes.
Sounds like a good idea.
Very good. All right.
They're
All-
looking-
Any other
One more
questions?
They're looking at doing this project then soon after the school year starts.
Mhm. And I did talk to the teacher about that as well. When we talked about doing this in the fall, the teacher basically said to me, it's too early, they're not ready to do a building yet. So then we kind of waited till the spring, they got busy doing other things, they didn't really have time for us. But he has 40 students that are carrying over from this year to next year, so he actually feels they will be ready in the fall to do it because he's got these students who've been working all of this year and they will be ready for more sophisticated projects in the fall.
It's
Yep.
pretty exciting.
It's very exciting.
That'll be great.
Yep, and we're not the only small building that they're lining up. They'll also be doing another garage. And I think that they're going to, depending on how it goes with our project, working with Bob, I think they're talking about using him for that garage as well because he's been flexible in terms of having the students learn and figure out how to work together. So I think this is going to be not just our building, I think it's going to be more.
Do we know how long it takes for this concrete to cure before they can start building?
I don't, but he's actually going to work with the instructor to make
Okay.
sure that all of that timing works out. I suspect he'll do the concrete shortly after school starts, and then they'll build it. And, yeah, after it's had a chance to cure, so.
Okay.
They've been in communication beyond just talking to me. I was the middleman there for a while, and now I think they're talking to each other, so.
Excellent.
Yep, because I'm not an expert in any of that.
Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. We'll keep our fingers crossed that this all...
Yes. Finally moving again.
Number 4.
Okay, review and approval of quote for wall and door for administrative office. Over the course of the past few years, we've been working with our auditor to improve best practices in regards to money handling and security. One of the suggestions that was made was that our administrative office should be enclosed and include a door both for security reasons and to allow individuals working in that space to focus without distraction. A quote for this project was requested from our facilities company, Allied Building Services. The quote includes the installation and insulation of the wall, moving the light switch and adding a plug to the new wall, framing out and installing a door, and painting the wall on both sides. The library already has a door that matches the others in the building that was removed from the snack room. The quote includes adding a half window to that door so that it can be observed when money is being counted and that more than one person is present. Allied Building Services has done similar construction work for the library, so we know the quality of the installation and finish work, especially the woodworking, will coordinate with the rest of the interior. And this is not a budgeted item, but something that we had been discussing and trying to figure out when to fit into the schedule.
And how soon can they do that? Do we know?
That's another one that as soon as I can call them and sign off on it, that they're pretty good about scheduling things quickly. When it's a project like this, they're the ones that trimmed out the windows for the computer lab, and they were very good about, we had to coordinate getting them in here to do the stops because Clarkson Glass came in to do the glass, and they were super flexible in terms of making sure that work got done. So I know that they'll do that for us here as well. They've been really good about those projects.
Okay, I'll accept a motion.
I move to approve the proposal by Allied Building Services to install a wall and door in the administrative office and approve a budget adjustment of $5,400 from fund balance to line 975 building for this work.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the proposal by Allied Building Services to install the wall and the door in the administrative office and approve a budget adjustment of $5,400 from fund balance to line 975 for this work. Any comments or questions? About time, yes.
This may be something that should have been done when the building was built.
But it was smaller, we were smaller
This
than,
is BP for that.
Yep.
I think in our plan of making sure all our policies and our procedures for protection are in place, I think this is,
Well, and it's nice, I mean, you know, when the auditors make those suggestions, they've given us a good clean audit, but it's still nice to pay attention to.
The recommendations.
Because they know what they're talking about. They do this all the time, and
And we've
it's,
been tackling them one by one, you know, they suggested changing the way we're handling money in terms of safes and that kind of thing. So we did the little ones first, but this is the bigger one.
yeah.
All right. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion is carried. On to number 5.
Okay. Review and approval of hotspot loan policy and update of the lost material recovery policy. Lawrence Marble secured an LSTA Public Library Service grant. He's using this grant to help the library create a series of collections to support the students and families of the ESL program in the Clarkson School District. As part of the program, the ESL teachers suggested that the library purchase Wi-Fi hotspot units that could be checked out to the students for those who are unable to secure broadband internet at their home. This will allow these families to have access to our library databases on internet provided by CIDL at their home. Part of the process of starting a new collection of this type is to set the loan policies. Please note the highlighted change to the items lost and returned policy does not actually alter the current policy. It just provides clearer language, and we only changed that because as we were making those other changes, we read that policy and said, wow, this could be clearer. So that last one at the bottom of that policy, items lost and returned, that's not actually a change other than clarification. So, but Bill is here, our IT manager is here to talk to you about all of this. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, I will turn it over to him.
And we are talking about English as second language too.
Yeah, English is a second language. The English is a second language program in the Clarksville schools.
Okay. Thank you.
And this is an area where many of the families do not have access to the internet in their homes. They may have a computer, they may have a cell phone, but may have like limited data plans, or they don't actually have the internet, but they do have, or they can get a laptop from the schools, those sorts of things. And these will allow us to, or allow them, I should say, to get online and be able to do their homework, do their research for them and their whole families. And yeah, like I said, we have to have we don't have them yet, but we have to have a policy in place before we can actually start moving forward with what we're going to build so that we know
Do you expect
how to
the
get it.
grant will cover the cost?
It will cover a portion of it. So that's why that part isn't in here yet. That's going to be coming up in another board meeting, because we're going to start charging. We're also going to ask the friends at some point to see if they'll be able to help sponsor this thing as well, but we haven't told them yet.
It's a good thing there's a friend here.
I know, so.
Now you know why you're attending, right?
At least seeing that on the wish list, I think.
Yeah, probably on the wish list or something like that soon. But, yeah, and so these are the first pilot, our first pilot will be 6 devices, and that should allow us to see if it's going to be popular. This program is in all sorts of libraries around us. In fact, I was talking with one of the reps from one of the cell companies. He said, Rochester Library bought 35 of them last week. When I was talking to him, I'm like, really? Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's just so foreign to me. What do you mean by a hotspot? I'm trying to visualize this.
Well, okay, so a hotspot is actually, it's a cell phone without a number, basically. And so you have no phone number attached to it, but it's just a device that is attached to the data portion of a cellular plan. And it has Wi-Fi internally that will share that internet access to whatever devices you want it to. The particular ones we're looking at are possibly through T-Mobile, and they have one of the lower prices and good coverage in our area. But it'll cover up to 15 devices, so you have 15 devices connected to one of these hotspots at a time. And it's called a hotspot because basically you are creating an internet hot space where you can actually get to the internet, whether or not you had cell phones or not.
Thank you.
And I see there are protections in there, and that overdue hotspots will just be deactivated.
Yep, and at least the ones, every company that I've talked to, they say that we have a web portal that as soon as I get notification that it's gone overdue, I go onto their web portal and I shut it off. So then, even if they do keep it, it's not going to do them any good.
Okay.
This is a question for you. But you don't have to be part of the ESL program check one of those out?
Not by policy, because we wanted to make the policy, because in case we wanted to make it more flexible later, because like during the summer necessarily, the kids aren't in the schools, we were talking about, there's a lot of different pieces that we're moving through, like the possibility of actually housing the collection at the school itself, so that the kids can check them out, because we already have the pack passes with them, and they can interloan and they can get stuff from the library right at their schools. So that, and some of the schools we're looking at are not within walking distance of here.
Sure.
So this is to help those students as well.
So then the school would be really the ones that would decide who can actually check them out?
Yeah.
If they're housed at the school?
But then, you know, so that's, we're still working on those pieces. But,
Because I can certainly see that there would be any number of other families who are not part of the ESL program.
Oh, yes.
Who, based on income and other needs, might not.
Well, that's what this particular grant came through, and that's where we started. So yes, if this pilot program goes well, we'll start expanding it and having some here. I mean, you'll even run into people who, we have one hotspot that's owned by the library that we use for when we go on site places that we don't know if they have internet or not. So if we can do that. Or you never know if a family's going to go somewhere that they need internet access wherever they're going. They don't, and there's
We
you know,
had
they
a
don't know.
device, we used to, now our phones do it, but
Yeah.
originally, in the early time of all of this, my husband and I had one so that when we were driving along in the car, I could use my tablet to look things up. and
Correct. Mhm.
They're very handy.
Well, and then, yeah, like you just said with cell phones too, but you know, that, again, that's.
Right, you have to have that, you have to
Yeah,
pay for that
yeah.
service on your cell phone.
Right, so that's an extra expense that.
Right.
I think my concern was just that we would be limiting the use of them to a certain population. If we turn it over to the schools to decide, and then they decide only the ESL kids could use them. And I'm just wondering how that, we're basically doing it for one special interest kind of group like that, instead of making the materials available to the general public.
Well, so I think we wrote the policy in such a way that we could do it either way. But the original pilot became part of this grant, which was specifically he is bringing in ESL classes to start with.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why when I talked with Annette and we looked at the policies, we changed, so they're looking at it going, well, you have to be certain things, well, that's not gonna work, so we wanted to broaden the policy as much as we could.
Super.
So our goal tonight,
I'm really glad that you're looking at this.
the goal tonight
It's
is,
something we've been talking about for a couple of years now, internally. I don't know if we've told you guys any of this, but we've been talking about it. Because we see, like I said, I see it at many libraries, and a lot of libraries are moving into more different types of objects that they're checking out other than just books.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
and at one point, we actually provided internet, we provided dial-up internet here at the library. Right before I got here, it was still, still a feature we had. So we know it's something that people need.
and so tonight we're looking at approving the policy so
Correct.
that you can move forward with the
Yes.
grant. Okay. Okay. Excellent questions. I'm ready for a motion.
I move to approve the hotspot loan policy and updates to the damage and loss material recovery policy as presented.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the hotspot loan policy and updates to the damage and lost material recovery policy as presented. Any other comments or questions?
No, thank you for the time put into this too, and also the grant.
Yeah, to you and Lawrence, thank you.
I think it's important. So, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion is passed. And at this time, Dan, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay, motion is accepted and we are adjourned at 6:44.